So now I got everything back now. So we're good to go. Had to go to the cell phone business and get stuff straight. It's always some crazy stuff. I shared it on here. I wouldn't put that in the video, but on here because I'm uncut. Well, I'm not that uncut, but you know what I mean. I just thought I would talk about it. So if anybody comes through, that's one of the reasons why I wasn't here. But things are working a lot better than they were. And just coming on to see if anybody's on involved. I'm not gonna be on as long as I've done past. There ain't gonna be no more than um, probably like an hour and a half, couple hours type of thing. Had to deal with a lot of trolls and robots, so don't want to have to be dealing with that. So I'm gonna see if anybody happens to come through and want to chop it up. Um, you know, I understand if no one don't come through, but I'm gonna do some talking anyway. And of course, anybody want to watch, they want to talk. I'm down with that as well too. So it's all good with that, But that's kind of where I am with this. So just talking. I'll stick right here. See your thing come through. Let me know what you got. Tell me know what you got. I'm standing right here. Okay, good. Yeah, I wasn't here yesterday. I had to get some data. And I had just got through putting money on my system to do the phone thing. But anyway, Cat told me, said, your data went low. I'm like, huh? But we had some issue with the weather, but the data, I'm like, the data? What? So I had to get a new plan, but it's all good. Got it now. So, but anyway, Derrick Henry, what all going on? Oh yeah, you want to talk about Cuba Gooding Jr.? Him and Diddy being zesty? That's hilarious. I saw that. I don't know if I'm going to touch that though about Cuba. Oh, Cuba. Mm-mm-mm. Yeah, that's a good move. That's a good move. If they get anything out of him, and I have to be honest because um, he's taking a lot of pounding, and I don't know. I don't know. I hope he's got something in the tank. You know, I don't think that's what Baltimore needs in the big picture, but it'll definitely help out in the small picture. But I still think they need another playmaker. Yeah, the thing with him and Puffy, because I was watching Reggie Wright Jr. and he went off. I don't know if you ever watched The Art of Dialogue with Tyron Taylor. You remember Tyron Turner? Tyron Turner. You remember him? Minister Society. If you see Minister, you know they messed. Still stuttering. Cracks me up. I watched him. That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. I mean, the Henry movie is good, but they need a playmaker. They need a playmaker. It's gonna be hard to beat, to make that move without that though. So I think that I don't understand Baltimore's logic. I would have gone after receivers left and right, especially when I have a two-time league MVP. Please, Cousins is going to Atlanta. We'll see. That might save him though, or he might suck. I don't know. You tell me. So that's what's up. Yeah, they should have made that move though with that though. Justin Jefferson would have definitely been on my make a wish if you can get him. But mm, mm, wow. Oh, you want to hear something funny? Want to hear something funny? Dallas Cowboy fans are talking about they should boycott. Wow. 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 Mm, mm, wow. Wow. But you got Josh Jacobs though. I mean, yeah, you're gonna be all right. You're gonna be all right. Yeah, somebody wrote that today because when the thing went about Derrick Henry, they said the Cowboys should boycott their season. I'm like, yeah, you should. You should. It'll be a long year in Big D. Mm. Oh, well, they always end up picking up somebody in the secondary, but when they end up pick somebody up, they always hurt or they something's off. Something's off. So I definitely feel that way. They always seem like they just missed the ball. Yeah, I saw that. Now that one I saw. See, so I don't know if you know or not. Bar and um, who else was rumored to go to Dallas? Barkley was one of them. I think by not going after Derrick Henry, they need a running back. They need a back. Oh yeah, Aaron Jones too. Yeah, yeah. They missed out. They missed out. Yeah, well, is it blank still or is it back? Let me know. If you can hear me, thumbs up. I'm trying to look and see what I got. Still blank. Okay, good. Yeah, it's just the technology ain't that memorable. Cool. It just ain't that memorable. We got to keep it moving. I will talk. I'll definitely good for an hour. So let's make it an hour of everything. If everything goes right, we go for 1 hour. So 1 hour from now, I'm gonna have to like limit to how this drain this. So I get this right. But yeah, we're good for an hour if everything is cool. I'm sure we can get a lot. Well, let's make it happen. It's just crazy. So the Cowboys messed out bad. Their fans are mad. Oh yeah, I did a video where I addressed that. Yeah, it's a good move. It's a good move. If he can beat out Pinkett, if he can, you know, if it works. If it works. Now it's a win for the Steelers. They only have to pay $1 million. Denver has to pay the 37 million. So that's a good move if it works. Together though. So Russell has to play. I mean, he has to be top of the line. So it's gonna be he's in a tough division too. I'm not. Why would why would they? Why would they? You got Debo and you got Mac. Why would you? For what? That's not wishbone offense. Or you really think Brock Purdy, you want Brock Purdy to be the ultimate game manager. What? Throw 10 passes and hand the ball off, what, 40 times? You funny for that. You funny for that. You trolling. Yeah, this was back in 78, 79. Down running backs, and then you tell your quarterback don't lose the game, just hand the rock off. Okay. I mean, that's hilarious. Three of them. Yeah, but you talking about 3 pounds of backs. Purdy don't suck that bad, does he? He ain't that brutal. I mean, he got a lot to do, but he ain't that brutal. He's not the worst quarterback I've seen the 49ers have. But that's hilarious, though. This guy's about what? 20 seconds from winning the Super Bowl? If that play don't go well in the end zone, and you telling him to be a sandwich quarterback. That was hilarious. That was hilarious. That made me laugh. You made me laugh with that one. That was funny. You see Henry, Debo, and McCaff. That was hilarious. That cracked me. Ooh, ooh, that's meaty. Yeah, so yeah. I might not be sold on him, but I don't know if I want all that layer back there. That's a lot of layer. That's a lot. No thoughts because I'm Caleb. That's about it, really. Caleb is the domino that'll dictate. Oh, I heard the Raiders interested in just. That's it, really. Because Caleb Williams. Then we can talk after that. That's the one. Where will Caleb go? That's the one. That's the one. It's gonna be interesting now. So far, a lot of running back, quarterback moves, which is surprising. So it's gonna be interesting. Hmm. One that I'm more curious about now, how that shapes up the pro, because that'll shape up the trajectory for the first 10. So no real thoughts until I see where Caleb Williams goes. So they obviously gonna be looking for defense. They're looking for like safeties and secondary. They're looking for, I imagine they're looking for guys that obviously can stay healthy, but also they're looking for like hitters. They're looking for better defenders. I think that's one of the problems why what they unloaded before had more to do with guys who could run and tackle, but they necessarily weren't what I call game changers. There wasn't really I call a game. Milano had stepped up so hugely, you know, but the secondary that game against Arizona when Kyle Murray hit that bomb against them, and to me that was one of the most obvious. Secondary sometimes gave up some plays. They got beat back there. So that's something that they've had to work on, and I think that's what they're looking for, a stronger secondary. They do a good job against Miami, and against Tyreek and them, but they can't stop Mahomes. They gotta get pass rush. They gotta be able to stop the run. They gotta be able to make some plays. They haven't been able to do that. And I told you again, in Cincinnati, they get manhandled. They're too light in the cakes against the Bengals. So I think this is going to be a telling tale of them. So that's what they got to do. They need a playmaker receiver, but I think you can pick up somebody in free agent. What's happening? How you doing? Glad to have you tonight. Just chilling. I don't know what Mean Rock is. If you have a question, feel answered. If I think you're trolling, I'm gonna have to delete you. I said they do. Yeah, I see that's becoming a problem. Can't seem to have none of these lives without somebody. Thank you. A- Anyway, yes, I agree to you. The Bills need to have the problems that the Packers got. You're straight on receivers. That's what we need. Y'all could be getting receivers. We don't have that luxury. Y'all problem is usually they ain't never had no problem with receivers. I wish the Bills had the Packers problems. Y'all always find receivers. Boy, do y'all find receivers. You got first, second, third tier guys that can almost start anywhere. The Bills don't have that luxury. They'll get what I call guys that are quick, that fit agendas, but they usually, because we have bad offense or something, and then those guys kind of get downridden. But I give it to y'all. Y'all stay with receivers. Yeah, your team on the same accord with Jordan Love. That's all. You heard what I said. I told you in 2 years you could be running the NFC. I ain't make that up. That's how much Jordan Love impressed me this postseason. I was that impressed. First round, even though you did, but it's the way you played Frisco. And Frisco to me is the standard. Yeah, you have. But the way y'all played Frisco for 3.5 quarters and the way you manhandled Dallas just goes to tell me that if you get it together, a couple years, the year after this coming one, I think you can run the table. I do believe. Especially if Frisco don't get it right. Because to me, right now, Frisco and Philly are the two best overall teams in NFC. So if they keep on shortchanging it, if Phil don't get the quarterback right and shenanigans, as you call them, messes up, y'all there for the take. Y'all next in line as far as I'm concerned. Yeah, I ain't say nothing about Dallas because they stacked on talent but glued to stupid. Okay, back and they stuck with Jerry Jones is on them. They ain't winning nothing. So y'all the ones that's next. Yeah, and we'll see what happens with Detroit. Yeah, you have. You've always had top tier receivers. I give you that. Bills back in the day, and we gave y'all Don Beebe, but I mean Green Bay's been smart, you know, you know. So Yeah, but he wasn't really quite that dude. You know, he went where he's supposed to go. It happens. The Bills had Marshawn Lynch. How'd that turn out? So, you know, I don't know if Kurt Warner would have had the kind of career where if he'd been with y'all. Who's to say? You know, who's to say? Who's to say? Nobody cares. No, because McMahon was not that. His personality was bigger than he was as a quarterback. And you weren't around this. He was part of it. He wasn't. He was cocky and arrogant. You know, wasn't that memorable as a quarterback. He was. It was fun. Oh, back in the day. I mean, when the NIT when they used to have real buzzer beaters, like I told you before, because I almost flew around and won that one. Yeah, for me, that one was fun. Some of the '90s, most of the '80s ones was fun. I said before, we'll never. I'm one of those kind of people, and I know I know I'm not the only one, but when you lose them, that's desperation move there though. That's desperation. He's actually a basketball player that actually won't slurp on. Wow. Like, listen, I like PP, but he wants the attention. But he ain't, ESPN plantation, so now you got to join the master skips. That's embarrassing. I told you though, there's only one person that could give Skip Bayless back to respectability. There's only one. Only one. He ain't never gonna. But they'll never put that guy. That's the only one. I'll be loving watching be smoking some good stuff. stuff though, because that Jordan don't play defense one was hilarious, and I had to look at him sideways. And then that one about Dale Jonas and Dale Davis could body up against Shaq. I was like, you, I like you've been smoking too many trees. And Dale Davis was a big boy, but nobody stopped Shaq in his peak in his prime. And if you did play defense against him, you better have some offense on the other end because you're gonna get wore out. Sheed would be hilarious. Yeah. And then Skip, I'd have on back NBA. That's what I would have. I only want people we gonna get some ratings. And that's what Skip needs. That's why he go get Paul Pierce. Even though Paul Pierce and ratings, yeah, if yeah, yeah. But Paul's a LA cat, Keyshawn's a LA cat, Sherm's a LA cat. Mm. Said the Lakers are in. No, he won't because exit me to that. Okay, I'll be back. Hold on. Still blank. Okay, good. Cowboy Carter is the new Beyonce album. Cowboy Carter. Hmm. Interesting. Best offensive player. Do you make a case for him for MVP? Do you agree? He has to make a noise in the postseason. So we'll see. We'll see. We'll see. Well, she I'm not I don't have I'm indifferent because black music is all kinds of music. And so I'm not really tripping one way or the other about it, to be honest with you. I mean, people are racist and they mad when a album of the year because she's trying to gravitate something as long as it's done for the right basis. If it's for the cause, trying to, you know, as long as it don't come across indulgence. See, because on one hand, I can respect your creativity. On the other hand, I know Beyonce, just like LeBron and Jay Z, they all friends and they all try to what? Show off. And there are things that you can just do. I don't think too many folks, they not necessarily mad where she's concerned because she's got hype machine behind her. The machine is behind her. They just mad that they upset because they have to be held accountable, not because it's her though. She's got crazy accessible fans, so we're coming because it's her. Never talk about pop culture. We talk about art and stuff. We don't really talk about her a whole lot, but she does though. You know, you know, music without making herself into a fanfare. And I know what she's trying to do. She's desperate to be the love child of Michael Jackson and Whitney Houston. That's her agenda because she doesn't feel respected as an artist. The She hasn't been respected. That's what's up. Now, as far as Luca goes, yeah, this is his moment to shine. He's the only one that can get in Jokic's way. Oh, he been sold out. When he said we were past kneeling, and he sat up there with Roger Goodell, I already didn't think much of that turkey, no way. So that just solidified it. So you know, I tell you before, the sports world and the music world and film world is a lot more interchangeable than ever, and people can be annoying all at once. Yeah, yeah. That's why they keep giving him awards. He's gonna get the Hollywood Walk of Fame for that D Bond. See, when they talk about muting you and cancel culture, I'm like, well, y'all forgot about Dr. Dre. He got a history of beating up on, but never mind. It's a lot of white money on him though. A lot. Them head a lot of money. Cookies be crumbling. He he got down. He got dang, this thing is such a mess. I'm right here trying to figure this out. Okay. What's this I hear about? The commanders got him back from the Ezekiel. That's a good move for them. Okay, you want to play the hip hop? Okay, KRS-One. KRS-One. You better rapper, better skill set, and had more memorable songs as far as like what he was about. Now, somebody's gonna say apples and oranges because they are different styles. Buster got a better, like a quicker flow, but KRS-One always moved me more as far as a pure MC, and I liked his story more. Buster's more catchy. Yeah, they need a quarterback though. He nice. They need a quarterback though. That's the problem. Sam Howell ain't gonna get it done. But yeah, I like KRS-One more. KRS-One is one of my all-time favorites. Ain't that something? The Lakers and the Warriors is like one game separates them, and Golden State still got 2+ games to make up because they had remember the trainer had the heart attack and passed, so they missed 2 games. So Golden State still got 2 games to make up. So could be them and the Lakers in the play-in. That's gonna be crazy. And Steph's due back next couple games. So they're doing pretty good considering how bad they were. That the fact that they could get to where they were. I'm more impressed with them than I am the Lakers. Lakers ain't got no excuse to be that ordinary. Yeah, Clay don't mind coming off the bench, and then they play good with the second team, and they can play some defense. Then they're gonna be fine. That's the key. But yeah, I'm taking KRS-One though for me personally. Okay. Oh yeah, you're right about Dallas. Ooh, whoa, they smashed Chicago. Okay, let me get to that one just 1 second. I am going to say out of those two Beastie Boys, Cypress had hype tracks, and I did like Be Real and all that, but the Beastie Boys were more versatile musically. Beastie Boys were Beastie Boys are one of the most important hip hop acts, period. When you get down to it, because I mean, they start off with Run DMC. They had an era where they turned the corner in the '90s, and that's why I got to give them some love for that because a lot of you keep saying that. I mean, I want to see in the postseason. I don't. I want to see what happens come money time. I don't want to talk too much until they get to the postseason. That's the only way you and I differ on some of these takes because for me, I want to see in the big picture. See, it's just like when we talk baseball, right? I want to see September, October. I don't care about summertime, middle. I want basketball. I want to see what we talking about April, May. Get to me about a couple months from now, then I can tell you. So, but I know Luca's playing like he trying to get that MVP. He playing like he trying to. He said, "Bump that Anthony Edwards talking that Jokic talk. Don't forget about me." That's what he playing like. So I always say if he was serious about it, he come in healthy from day one. He might be in that argument. He just never has good starts. That's his problem. I did like Eckler though. I thought Eckler was good. But anyway, that's why I take KRS-One. KRS-One and the Beasties in that argument. So far, the two mentions you mentioned, I've taken the right side. So KRS-One and the Beastie Boys for me. Cypress is kind of like Buster too, because they got a lot of hype and they got a lot of vibe. But I can only go but so far. He's figuring out the game. He's figuring well what he's got to do is he's got to keep Tim Hardaway Jr. and he's got to have Kyrie. He's got to have everybody scoring. That's the way they're gonna win. And then if they can get back on defense, then they're more. He's got to feed people. So whatever he does best, he gets it out the way early, then he brings it other later. Because rebounds will be there, and he'll definitely score 10, 12 points. So We'll see. We'll see. The West is loaded though. It's gonna be tough though. If everybody's the key is health too, so people are healthy. But that's a big one for him though. Denver won again. 25 games over 500. Wow. Jokic had another triple double. 35, 12, and 17. Aaron Gordon, Michael Porter Jr., 19 each. Jamal, 26. Jamal, 26 and 12. You ain't saying about that. Man. Oh yeah, everybody knows that. I mean, that's a no-brainer there. That's a no-brainer. That's a no-brainer. I mean, you got a guy that's a walking triple double. That's a no-brainer. Best team in basketball as far as I'm concerned. So you say you must see something with the Clippers I don't. So you ain't got no hopes for Dallas then, huh? What happened to all that Maverick love? You say how legit they are, and then you don't put them in the Western Conference Finals. What happened? Luca ain't that deep. Luca should be able to beat the Clippers. He better. They are his Achilles. There's two things that work. The Clippers are his Achilles, and Denver is his standard. Jokic is his standard. The Clippers are his Achilles. And he gonna make a statement. He can make a statement. My only knock with Dallas is two things: that they play defense, and can he keep the team alive and alert? Well, you put them in the Western Conference Finals. But I do think the West is going to be. I think it's tougher than people think it is. I do. Yeah, you just didn't put them in the Western Conference Final. They were there just 2 years ago. Do tell me why you say that. I just want to get what your why you say that. Anthony Davis been playing, but he ain't that deep where I I'm just not sold on his numbers is there, but I keep hearing someone say two of the top 15, 10, all this crap. They're not a top 10. They don't have two of the top 10 players. Their 5, 6 games or 500 is not exactly you right when you say I say a laughing stock when you're bragging about guys scoring like that, and yet they're barely over 500. They're still a ninth, 10th seed type team. How are they somehow? It is a laughing stock. It's an embarrassment. It is a joke. It's a joke. He's been going off a little, but I will say this though. Um, um, I'll give you that about Ham. And the only reason why he ain't fired now is because LeBron is old. That's the only reason why he ain't fired. If this was Braun about 5 or 6 years ago, that guy's toast. That's the only reason. Because LeBron is feeling mortal. More, and he's starting to say it too. AD, yeah, if they don't, if D'Lo didn't go off the other night against Milwaukee, they don't win that game. They don't win that game. because AD was getting, even though he had a block on Giannis, he wasn't no match for that. So you're absolutely right. I'll give you that. He is, and it shows too. Bought and paid for. And that's why Rasheed Wallace didn't want to come along because they asked you, did he want to come along? He said, nope. Well, that's, yeah. He been bought for like, well, yeah. So if you are you go to school for editing or for school, right? To be a journalist, right? What do you call wind horse or wind throat? Wind throat. That's what we'll call him. Wind throat. Winthorpe. I'm thinking about trading places Winthorpe, but we call wind horse because he rides Clutch Sports. So yeah, that's his new nickname, Wind Horse. Yeah. He just need to stick to slurping LeBron and let it go. I mean, really, man, come on now. You a journalist? That's what you call it? Okay. You got a lifetime subscription to ESPN? Okay. Wind horse. Cracks me up. You you ever wonder why I hold Sheet in high regard? Because aside from the Michael Jordan and that Dale Davis thing about Shaq, the other stuff is hilarious. He's the funniest cat that I encounter, former player. I mean, he be having me in stitches and what he be saying, and I be cracking up. He ain't lying though. He ain't lying. But the only difference between me and she though is this. I can't tell the scrubs from the bums from the stars today. Now I know what a superstar is supposed to look like, but the scrubs, the bums, and the stars, I can't tell. I can't tell. Let me give you a case in point. Are you ready? Let me put this. Let me give you this. Grayson Allen. Grayson Allen was almost a never was aside from tripping, and he got over. And then he looked like a bum because he'll have some decent games where he looked pretty good. But then he'll go back to his cocoon. Now he's making all these threes. Well, he should have cried because I keep telling everybody who will listen. I can't be one. You can quote me and you can look it up. I want a few people to say the same thing. I sound like a James Brown record. You beat the Lakers in Game 7, and then you beat Larry Bird and Reggie in the finals. We're talking about you as a top 4 player ever. Period. You will be in the all-time top 5 discussion for life because then you have 7 rings. You beating the Lakers would have put you in the top 10 alone. You beat Phil, especially when Shaq was like, "Come on now," but then you beat and win the chip. Oh man, please. He should have cried. Blew that series. Blew his so-called leadership. At what I said. Cause I'm like this turkey up here always talking all this mess like he's some deep like, and I got I got the sources and I'm like, man, go back to your cocoon. I hear wind horse always roast and talking smack. I'm like, look, man, there are people that I say that back. Go back to your cocoon. That's why I say to Skip Bayless too. Talking about them cow, all that other stuff. Look, stick to what you do, because when you start talking about that other stuff, you tripping. Yeah. Even though Windhorse to me is a never was. He just got hooked up because he keep riding a black man for his stardom. But he's a never was. Never was. Because he ain't no journalist. I mean, I want that degree. I can put that on my wall too. That ain't no degree. So yeah, when I see some cat that is acting like he got it, like, look, you overrated, jive turkey. You ain't nothing special. Ain't nobody know you. Go to Harvard tomorrow and they'll laugh. Please. Yep. Yeah, and but you see oh, why you have to go mention him? This turkey played for like 50, 60 different teams. Was that NFL commercial they had with him when he sat there in his living room? He had all his helmets. I was like, oh Lord. Oh boy. Yeah. Yeah, there are people that I feel that about. Jason Kuhnlick, I say go back to your cocoon. Jason Whitlock, there you go. Go back to your cocoon. Stephen A. Smith, go back to your cocoon. Mm-hmm. Just saying. Mhm. Where did he go? Where did he go? Where is he going on? Oh, well, that's a big loss. If they, I wouldn't mind having him. That's a big boy, and his way he plays receiver. That's one of the reasons why the Bills unloaded their safe. They're going there. Couldn't tackle him. Them slants he used to run. Okay, okay. They don't think he's a. They don't think he's a merits a long term. So I get it. I get it. I get it. I don't blame him. Nobody wants to be tagged. That's a slave code there. If you get tagged, because basically they can own you and they can have a say of what you do. So I get it. I don't blame him. I wouldn't do it either. I think it's a slave tag when they keep putting tags on you. But I also think they probably don't think that it's mine too. It's a slave tag to me. That's we own you. And you can't negotiate your deal. They can put whatever money they want to stipulate and you're stuck. It's one of the worst things the NFL's got going for it. And Higgins is a type of dude. He is a top tier type of receiver, so he should be able to get paid top dollar. He should be able to get a 3 or 4 year deal, outright money for two. But they want to jangle him for a year or two, and then if he gets hurt, well, Mahomes accepted that deal because he wanted to stay, and also because at the time he probably is going to get at least 100+ million guaranteed. Okay, and at the time he was just probably thinking, at the time because he had the Super Bowl. They didn't see two more Super Bowls. They didn't see that. It's negotiable deal because what will end up happening is in about 3 or 4 years, they'll, take money, add money. It'll go back and forth. But it was a bad deal. There are no good deals in the NFL or in the NBA, if you want my honest opinion. They're not. Baseball is the only one that kind of gets it right. And let me explain. To really sign a guy like Patrick Mahomes, you'd have to give him a $500 million deal with about 300 million guaranteed plus bonuses, incentives. I'm just keeping it 100. He's got 3 rings. He draws crazy interest with the merch. They have sold out stadiums. That's got to count. That's worth 100 million each. Those 3 chips. Plus, he's been to 4 Super Bowls. So you do the math. jerseys, TV commercials, appearances, you know. So he's a hot commodity. Yeah, probably a couple year deal. I think a 3-year deal with a 2-year with a third year option. That's probably what I see. I can't imagine anything more than three because at this stage and age, I think it's definitely like they probably look at him for like what I call two one off deals with a third option. But if he wins another ring, I see him probably hitting the road. I think if they three-peat, he's gone. I couldn't imagine him coming back to try beyond that. Because if he wins the fourth ring, he's tied with Gronk. They'll be in history, and there's nothing else you can really do. So that'd be the time to bounce. So that's how I look at it. Could be wrong, but I don't think I am in this time. So, oh yeah, oh yeah. You talking about Ernie with the mustache? I know if you talking about the certain crowd, I'm talking about yeah. Oh yeah. Everybody on that team is gonna make the Hall of Fame. The Ball Boys too, Gatorade, the whole crew. They got nothing but rings going around there. You go to 4 Super Bowls and you got 3 chips. Oh, y'all going in. Y'all going in. So I don't care what nobody says. That's a dynasty. Yep. Oh yeah, because he did that with the Giants, if you remember, against New England. He's the dude. He just couldn't cut it as a head coach, but as a coordinator, that dude is the truth. And see, he's the only one that knows how to beat Mahomes. I'm not talking about what happened against Tampa Bay. I'm talking about X's and O's. Because he's got that Belichick in him. He's from that cloth. He's the Giants. He's got the Tom Coughlin's in him. He just can't cut it as a head coach. But as a coordinator, he's a beast. Him and Wade Phillips are two of the, but he's starting to become his own. Mhm. So yeah. Bum was good. Yeah. I was around when Bum was around. I lived in Houston back then. Bum was a good coach. Very good. They just couldn't get over the hump. But he was a knocking on the door. Earl Campbell, Dan Pastorini, Kenny Burrows, Dave Casper, and they had Stabler, but Robert Brazil, hmm Mike Renfro, Greg Bingham. Yeah. Wade wasn't much. He was an average coach, but as a coordinator, oh man, he would clap your back. His defenses were always ready. And he definitely was a prototype when football was like 17 to 14. You know, like how they talk about 90s basketball being like that? Well, football was like that too. Wade was one of the great taskmasters. He knew how to get physical on the line. That's when Von Miller played his best football. Um, well, uh, 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 Tig, not Tig, um, uh, uh, um, the brother I told you about was the family tree with Green Bay and Frisco. He's the best one. I can't think of his name now. I told you about him because that's where Holgram and all them got off their tree from. Um, oh, what's his name? Um, I told you about him a couple weeks ago. We did the live stream, and I told you that that's where Mariucci and all of them came off his tree. Sherm Lewis, yeah, Sherm Lewis. That dude is like the first one that comes to mind because that tree is deep, deep. Then of course you could, yeah, because you don't think about him, and plus he's black. But when you read about everybody that came off his lineage, that dude is doesn't get talked about near enough. And he's like one of the first names that come to mind. If I go back old school, Tom Landry, Bill Walsh, because those guys were coordinators. Anybody that was a coordinator with Paul Brown from Cleveland, you can look him up. You'll see some of the greatest head coaches were associated with him because he was the precursor to the West Coast offense. What he did in Cleveland. So yeah, but yeah, Sherm Lewis comes to mind in the Martin. The enemy's gonna get love too. Hmm. So Facebook, when I was talking about Ray Rhodes as a coach, they was clowning. Yeah, he did good as a defense coordinator. He did good. He was good. You know. If you believe that coach, if you believe in that coach, I don't know. I know one thing, he better not mess up again. He better I don't that might be the only way he keeps his job. They messed up. They were 10-1. They messed up. They crashed and burned. And he ran his mouth and I'm just saying. So unless you know something I don't, yeah, it might be the only way he keeps his job. Because if he doesn't get past the second round next year, I think he gone. I think he gone. They lost a division. They got beat in the first round. I think he gone. If they don't do better. Because Jalen Hurts got a lot of life in him. Mm, just saying. And you want Mahomes to have two fingers. You won't see the left shield or the right shield. That happens. Because that's the kind of situation that could mean at least 3 or 4 rings easily. I don't think people understand. And guys, the guy's halfway to Brady already. That's the thing. You put something like that with him and give him 3 or 4 years to work with, they're gonna win a ring or two. It's this that's scary. It's that real. Charge this thing up. He probably won't sign an extension because they ain't got no quarterback. That's why. Shoot. I mean, Kirk Cousins was a standard, and that should tell you something right there. Now think about that. You stuck with Kirk Cousins, and that's what you stuck with. You know. I mean, I like Dobbs. That's not gonna make me want to sign. You know. I mean, would you? I mean, you look at where he's stuck with, and they fell off. He might be the smartest quarterback I have ever seen. He might be the smartest. Because the way he keeps getting hooked up, it's like, does he have video on somebody? How does he maneuver this well? I mean, he really has maneuvered. And he falls into the category of scrub, bum, and almost never would. Scrub because sometimes he stunk it up. I seen him look like, oof. And never was. He almost hit the bottom. But then he had some games where he looked like, okay, you look like a bum. Like you could be something. You could be good. You could look like great. First, second, third tier. I've never seen another quarterback that I could say that about. Yeah. Well, once they killed him off, that's why. But you know what I'm getting at. I mean, it's uncanny when I think about his career. It's uncanny because I'm like, this guy stays with a W, even though his teams are mediocre. He stays with a W. And I am just so blown away. So I don't get it. And perhaps it's not for me to get. But yeah, I I am in awe. I am in awe of him. Yeah, I saw that mess. But how much is guaranteed though? How much is guaranteed? But you know, he's in a very rare situation because A, he can't actually start or play. And it's funny that he comes right after you mentioned Kirk Cousins because they kind of similar, except Cousins is better. Yeah. I only say that because I think they'll cut him after a couple years. I know the real him will come back again. But the problem is the NFC ain't got no quarterbacks. That when you think about it, I mean, think about it. I mean, let's look at the NFC. Matthew stat pad is old, may have a good run in him, but then you got Jalen Hurts on the is legit. Dak is average, but he's kind of on that Kirk Cousins tip. He gets over because of that. The Giants ain't got nothing. Washington ain't got nothing. Okay. Chicago's trying to trade Justin Fields, who looks potentially good, but they don't want him. Dobbs in Minnesota is okay. He will. He will, because I know how he is. He'll start throwing them picks again. I mean, when you look at it, and we talk about Derek Carr in New Orleans. What's up? What's up? What's up? DP, how you doing? How you doing? Glad you catch me. I'm gonna be here for a little while. Uh, I got your message. Appreciate it. So yeah, here for a little while. I got another 30 more minutes before my roll. So whatever you want to talk about, feel free. Let's do it. Doing all right though. Glad you're back. Thank you. Doing all right. Had to get a few things taken care of, but I'm doing all right. Appreciate that. Hope you had a good day. No need to feel bad. I wasn't here yesterday because I had some issues with my phones and my computers. I had to get some data, so wasn't here no way. And things happen. It's called life. We all have things we gotta do. It's nice when we can connect, but life does happen. So appreciate it when people can come through, and I'm always glad to have people come through and we can chop it up. Just that life does happen. Got to go and do things. So and I got like I said, I'm gonna be here for another half before I go make a meal today. You got some stress? Yeah, I'll just say pray and take it easy. My draft moments, probably what people were wearing more than anything. I don't get excited about it's usually the clothes, cats rocking a certain suit or a cap. Because unless you talk about the Chris Webber for penny trade, there are not a lot of memorable moments. Because it really, it's always about what you remember how cats were coming to to be dressed up. It's not NBA draft is not like the NFL where it's a big hoo ha and brouhaha. It's a different kind of mindset. It's not the same. So they're not like NFL draft. I've seen cats don't get their name called for a day or two, and that's real. NBA, it's about what they're wearing actually. Oh, Harold Miner, Baby Jordan, it never was. He definitely comes to mind. Um, few cats that got drafted out of high school. Yeah, I hate to say it. There's some truth to that. Well, I don't think that I would say choker on a bum because you either choke or you're a bum. Bum is that you underplaying how good you are. I think that they just don't put. I just don't think they've put the right resources behind him. I think this last playoff loss to Kansas City wasn't so much his fault as that they tried to get conservative against Kansas City and they got taken out their game. And when you play against Mahomes, I know it's easier said than done. That's how scary Mahomes is. The Bills got taken out their game too. He puts pressure on you. That's that pressure. Just like the 49ers in the overtime. That pressure is real. He's a bum in the postseason. That's the reason why we don't have him. That's why we don't have him in the top five as point guards now. If his postseasons were memorable, you'd have people arguing and debating if he's top 3 to 5 ever. But because he came up so bad and so short in the postseason, that's why we don't talk about him. He is. T is right. That's why we don't have him in the top five. When I get asked who's the top 10 greatest point guards, he'll never crack my top seven. So, and he'd been trying. Oh, if he had beat Milwaukee, they'd have had him top five. But Earl Campbell rookie season is one of them that come to mind. Dan Marino rookie season. Patrick Mahomes rookie season. I'm just naming them at the top. Now, Steph, Curry, Magic Johnson, Oscar Robinson, Isaiah Thomas, John Stockton, and then I'd probably say Jason Kidd. Now his historical run is great, but no, not for me. Mm-mm. And CP3 is better of the two as a point guard for me. Of the two, Russ got better stats, but no, neither one of them. No, no. But that's a good question though. I think if he had a one with Kevin Durant or had a one with James Harden or had a, you know where I'm going with Russell? Yeah. So he's had situations where he's had high octane scores as a sidekick. He had Durant, he had Harden, he had Bradley Beal. And if you want to throw in LeBron and KD, AD, you can too. That's one of the reasons why I don't take him too. Like I respect his hard work ethic and the way he plays, but it's a lot of gimmick with me and him. Not for me, not the LeBron 3-1 comeback, not for me. Because I think Shaq and Kobe comeback against Portland was more for me. Let me tell you why. The thing about the LeBron was Draymond got kicked out of one game, okay? So we don't know how that would have how that would have played. And LA came back from 15 points down the fourth quarter against a very motivated Scottie Pippen, a young Blazer team. It had more, it had as much historical. I don't know why it doesn't. People, I know that the Golden State record in the regular season, but you got to remember the Lakers won 67 games, though it's not 73. But Shaq was playing out of this world. Shaq's MVP season rivaled that of Steph's, if you will. So why is it not getting hold the same sway? I don't know. And the reason why I say that Laker one has more merit, but Golden State did come back and win. Portland never got heard from again. That's the difference. That's the difference to me. I'm gonna do a video about that, but that to me, probably Magic Tragic in '84, throwing those bad picks. J.R. Smith against Golden State, running backwards. That probably was the two that come to mind. J.R. Smith's one was probably the most heinous though. He was right there for a layup and he dribbled all the way back out. And LeBron was like, "You remember?" So that one probably comes to mind. That was probably the one that comes to mind, if you must say one. I disagree because he had 32 in game seven. He had a triple double in the last game. His momentum was carrying, enough where he was still an effective scorer. I think if they go back to Golden State with him in game five, they might finish him out. I do. Uh, if you're talking about the culmination of him winning the chip and being the MVP of the finals, you make that case. But I could make a strong case for Wes Unseld, who was Rookie of the Year and MVP. Those are rare. Those are rare. So, the way he won and how he did it is more memorable from, you know. But Wes Unseld got a strong case too. I think Draymond makes a difference because the momentum. I don't think it goes 7 if Draymond plays the back to back. I just don't. He didn't foul him. He hit him in his man regions, and But again, if they were going to take him out of that, why didn't they do it against OKC with Steven Adams? That's the problem I have with that so-called rule. I've never seen that before. Draymond should have been suspended in OKC. Yeah. Now, don't be offended. Don't be offended. Don't be offended, DP. But me and Ted almost think you trolling now. Ted know what I'm talking about. I'm gonna give you a pass because you from Africa. You haven't seen a lot of stuff. This ain't up for discussion though. I mean, Dennis Rodman in a blowout. If Draymond Green, I know before you come at me because he just passed what they Larry Bird and Michael Jordan for shooting, scoring threes and stuff. He ain't the half of Dennis Rodman. If he was, if he was, Golden State would be rivaling the Celtics of the '60s. Take my word on it. If he was, if he was, Rodman was a winner wherever he went. One of the greatest winners ever. I'm taking Rodman. Period. It's not even close. Not even. To anyone who watched him back then, who knows, it's not even close. Yeah, if you can't beat him, you join him. But the problem was is that he was spent in Phoenix. As great as Barkley was, okay, well you okay, power forward. Robert Parrish, better scorer, could play defense, could hold his own, and he was truly the leader that he was the leader of that Celtics team. He was very integral in the subtle and not so subtle ways. Held his own. I'm not gonna give Rodman the edge over a center, but I like him. I love I hold Rodman in high regard. Bird, that's a blowout. That's not even close. Dirk was great, came up big, but Bird just did so much on and off the rock. Bird found a way to beat you, and he was another level. Tim Hardaway Sr. because he had more bounce with it. I liked his game better. He didn't have the same kind of caster with him. His teams were really small ball, really. I like KJ a lot, but I thought Tim Hardaway Jr. just moved me more. The Robin Parrish one ain't a bad Q&A because there's different positions, but Parrish was just he's underrated. He's not gonna crack my top 7 or 8 centers, but he's one of those guys that he gave you the work. Had an ugly shot, but he gave you the work. He was consistent as all get out. You know. Now Robin had to be consistent with all things being considered. They got no choice now. That's the Steph Curry rule. Me and Ted talk about that all the time. That's the Steph Curry rule. So yeah, jokers can shoot. Yeah, nowadays you got to. Kevin McHale. I love Bosch, but Kevin McHale was an octopus. If you saw my quote in Too Raw when he asked, I said, I've never seen another center who had more arms than Kevin McHale. All arms and elbows. He was an octopus. No one utilized what he did. Had incredible post moves and moving. Now Bosch was more versatile because he could shoot inside out like a worm. But McHale, that man was like an octopus. Charles Barkley calls him the best player he ever played against. So that should tell you something. McHale, because he was a sixth man and then became a starter and became one of the greatest players ever. Anthony Davis has not shown me leadership like that. He's benefited from being in situations. That's a great question there, DP. Great, 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 great. I'm gonna say Scotty because he had to do all the details. Mikhail had Parrish too, so they played it off. And Mikhail did score 50 something points in the game, but Scotty was the next thing. Aside from athleticism, what has AD got over? He doesn't dominate the guys of his era. Tell you what, take that 1 to 2 raw and tell him that we did this in the live stream and see what he tells you. Now, Anthony Davis gonna have a better career scoring average. Anthony Davis gonna have points and stuff, but Mikhail was a better team player. Mikhail showed leadership. What does Anthony Davis show? What can he do if he don't hang on LeBron's apron? Really now, he should be running that team. He ain't. He ain't. I don't depend on him. And the thing is, gotta remember, Kevin McHale, just like James Harden, was a sixth man who became a starter, who became one of the greatest players ever. If Anthony Davis rode the pine, I don't think he's going to leap and be that much better. I just don't. Because for all the numbers he puts up and everything, that team is not significantly like a threat. This is tough, but I got to give it to KG because he was a better scorer, you know, and had a higher volume. But it's tough, though. It's tough. Because Mikhail really moved me. I'm saying again, that was a bad white boy. Could handle himself in the rim, low post. But Garnett had more overall game. But it's close, though. It's tough. It's tough. It's tough. I'm sure there might be other NBA eyes and people who might laugh at what I say in here. They welcome to it. But when I break stuff down and you ask me about a couple players and I'm looking at the totality, I'm not just going by their skill set or their championships or what. I'm looking at what they brought. Garnett's going to get the edge of as athletic and what he did. Now, the reason why AD doesn't get it over Mikhail is because I don't think he's showed me the capacity to be a leader. I have to take that in consideration. Now, you could say Mikhail wasn't, but Mikhail was more closer to Bird and getting stuff than AD. And AD's always hurt and he's not consistent. And I don't think they win a chip based on his arms. Garnett came up big, so I can give KG his due. But it's close, though. I like Mikhail a lot. And Kevin McHale has sadly become one of those guys that people are forgetting about because more and more time goes by when you talk about fours, they're going to obviously go to Duncan and Barkley and Malone. Ooh, that's a good one. Ooh. Because his career lasted longer, David Robinson. However, Bill Walton had to maintain what he was in Portland. I would have told you Bill Walton in a run and a walk away. Because that Portland era of Walton was a freaky beast. Dave Robinson was a great talent, great player. So he gets this. He he put the work. But if Walton had been like he stayed in Portland, had that come to pass, it'd have been a different answer. But that's a great question because they both were tall, long, lean. I think Robinson got more offensive game. Brooklyn Nets, a couple years ago. Some people might say the Lakers of 2004. Um, you know, some might say the Rockets of '97. When Barkley came over there with Pippen and Olajuwon. I mean, it depends what your criteria is. You talking about football? Really? Because Michael Vick was there or something? Yeah. He's in my top 4 probably all time. He's, anywhere from, I say with Will, it can be anywhere from 1 to 6. Depends on my mood. Nothing less than 6, though. because he's a standard barrier. I hold him in high regard, you know, and an incredible force. He always has to be. If to me, if you don't have him in your NBA top 10, then your list is blasphemous, as far as I'm concerned. Yeah, I say anywhere from 1 to 6 or 7. Well, yeah, anywhere. I said anywhere though. I didn't say. I said it could be 1 through 7. Oh, we'd be here all night. I don't know. I mean, it depends. You got to throw some names. I'd have to say. You can make a strong case, like I said before. Like I said before, he's one of those guys. Uh, well, it depends on who's getting in the Hall of Fame. See, I have to think about somebody lately that got in that you thought was questionable. He made spectacular catches in the postseason, and he played in an era where numbers weren't quite as romanticized as they are now. So, in his defense, and he came up so big for him. So that's the only knock. He was more colorful and had more charisma on the screen than John Stallworth. So no, he ain't questionable. You tripping now? Jerome Bettis? No, he's top. He belongs. He belongs. Now, if you said Jamal Lewis or something, I might look at you sideways, or Chris Johnson or something, like the guys who ran for 2,000 but didn't have anything else that were memorable. I'm sure when Eli Manning gets in, they'll say he was overrated too. Katie, I'm taking Durant over Kevin Garnett. Tangibles move me more. And one of those guys that should be closer to a top 10. As much as I like Garnett, I don't look him in the same. Durant's more closer to the higher tier than KG is, to me. I just think that KD is just moves me more. Dirk. Dirk. Better overall career. Neither one of them mine. I said KD would be closer to a top 10. KG not for me. KG would be more like in my 15 to 23 range. KD would be close from 21 to 11, somewhere along that line. KD moved me more. Better score, better impact. I'm taking Dirk because Dirk won with less. Dirk came up bigger. Dirk overachieved. That's where I have to disagree. Listen, I love Barkley more. Barkley overachieved in Philly. Got the Phoenix, had their MVPs, but he gives you relate more to him. But if you knew what Dirk overcame, especially a foreign player at that time, Dirk did things that he if Barkley played like Dirk, Barkley would have about 3 rings, and we'd be having a different discussion about Charles Barkley all-time ranking. Okay, just saying. And I only say that about guys who didn't win. I never say a guy who won should have won more than this. Oh yeah, he's got the stats. The only thing that'll hurt him is he's played for 55 different teams, but that's not going to hurt him. He's got the stats. His impact is what it is. He's a league MVP. No one's going to say that about him. Now, someone might call him overrated and might say he's stat pad, but you can't take nothing from Russ. Dwight Howard should be a Hall of Famer, you know. But I just think their personal life is what they're going to use against him, but he should be. He did everything, but he did everything. But the only thing I ever had against Dwight is he just didn't add enough offense to his repertoire. But he was definitely important and impactful. He should be there before Anthony Davis. I tell you that. He was a better player longer than AD. Bird for me, easily. because he could do everything LeBron could. And he led his teams no matter who was there. And remember, he did that with a bad back in 12 years. And he was a multiple league MVP. Ooh, that he should with stats. But if they used all the teams and anything against him, they'll make him wait. I think they'll make him wait a minute, but I think he should get in. But I wouldn't be surprised if they make him sit for a moment. But he should get in. He should, though. He didn't have to jump because he could bust your cakes and he could tell you he was going to make the shots. How many cats did he tell he was going to knock the splash in your face? He could. He didn't have to. Look, I love Sheet and everything, and guy was versatile and everything. But I gotta give it to Paul Gasol because Paul Gasol came up big. Paul Gasol, inside out, and he took over as a lead role. You know, the Lakers don't win them last two with him and Kobe if he don't. That was the trade that stirred everything. I know Sheed with Detroit, but Sheed didn't always play to be in the dude, and that's the only knock I got against Sheed. When I look at Sheed, that's a woulda, coulda, shoulda, but he just didn't want it. He should be, but the load management and how the team feel, he should be. If we go strictly on what he's done, he should be. But if they use a lock against him, it's because the load management and they might hold him for being kind of funny time. They could. So I think Kawhi is. No, not to me. I think Clay is, not Draymond. Only because there's an agenda by the media to push him. I don't look at him as a Hall of Famer. If he's a Hall of Famer, then Robert Ory's a Hall of Famer. I don't look at him as a lock. I think Clay is, even though I wouldn't call them necessarily a lock because there was a time when it looked like Clay was as important as Steph, and that hasn't come to pass. But I do think he's definitely Hall of Fame, though. Mookie, because Mookie had impact in the postseason. I like Muggsy's game, though. Muggsy was a tough, fiery cat. So it all depends on what your criteria is. Well, I can't complain. Uh, See, the problem with your question, Ted, is that Charlie Ward didn't get well, he did play, but he didn't really get to shine. He was a better talent than Pookie Snow, but Pookie played longer. Pookie was big for Seattle and for Philly. I hate that. I hate that's what Charlie Ward comes to because he should have been better than that. Kyrie. You should ask Ted that one because Kyrie's very polarizing. Very polarizing. If we stick to basketball, then yes. If we stick to the whole nine, they gonna make him crawling big. I don't know. He should be, but they may make him Craig and Ball. If we go by what he's done as a player, then yeah. But if we go by, he should be. But you know what I'm talking about, though. They may make him crawl for a minute. Don't be surprised if he has to. They have to hold him out. I'm just saying. I don't view him as a Hall of Famer. He has to win a ring. I don't. There's nothing about his career. I say if this is the really good, the very good Hall of Fame, yeah. I don't look him as a Hall of Famer. Ted, no, I don't. I don't. Look, I love Jimmy Butler, and he does fit Heat culture. But a Hall of Famer, he has to win a ring. He wins a ring, then yeah. I just don't look at him as that dude. Not like that, because his regular seasons are kind of. He's got nice numbers. He's good, but it's not like I'm sitting there going, "Oh, I don't look at him as a lock. He got to win a ring." Yeah, the people you're mentioning, they got to win a ring. He needs a ring. Needs a ring. Yeah, yeah, he'll be in. They'll get him in. He'll get in. Ring or no ring, he's in. Had to think for a moment, but yeah, he's in. Well, Gary, because he had the longer career. If we're going on potential and upside, I told you Penny in a blowout, but Gary had the longer career. I would have left Portland about 7 years ago because after he hit those two shots, they beat Harden and Paul George. What has become of his career? He had to have known in the last 5, 6, 7 years they weren't going to win there. He had to have known that they weren't beating Golden State. So, and you're not good enough to come in second place. So, what are you doing? You weren't going to beat Houston. So, what were you doing? You were stat padding and winning some games, and you're going to be in a second round casualty knockout. So, I would have been gone. Yeah, I got to go in about 3 minutes myself. I was glad that you stopped through, DP. Appreciate you coming through. And I'll be back tomorrow as long as everything is working. But yeah, some good questions that you asked, though. Um, all right, likewise, DP. Appreciate you. I'll be back tomorrow too. As coaches, um, that's a great question. I would have to, all right, peace out. See you tomorrow. This ain't gonna be the popular choice. I'm gonna say Pat Riley because LA, New York, Miami took three different teams to land. As the overall guy, appreciate you. Thank you. I like Phil, but Phil has to have everything meticulously go right. Pat Riley makes it right, structural. So I have to say, after I think Riley got my nod, uh, because the way he worked the Lakers with Magic and Kareem speaks volumes. He had to do that on the fly. It wasn't like when Phil came in with a raw Shaq or nothing. They made that work. Now, Phil, I think's philosophy works better, but I think Pat Riley's tangibles as a coach because Pat gets results. He got results, you know. So, but that's a great question. As coaches, I got to give Pat the edge. But I understand why Phil has got him whipped in far as rings because he's had top talent. And also, you know, he had a method that worked. Pat Riley can run you off. He can drive you crazy because he can be so a stickler. Phil is too, but in a different way. They needle you in different ways. So, but it's always a great question. I mean, we can debate that. There really ain't no wrong answer. But I just think that some about Pat Riley's, he knows how to, he keeps the core of everything. You know, they're different. There are different techniques the way they coach. Riley's a stickler, meat on the bone type of thing. Phil, tries to come at you philosophical, tries to tap into another thing with you. Riley is like it's us against the world. He comes at you cut like, comes at you cutthroat. So, you know, he had those runs in LA. And so anyway, I'm gonna call it through because I gotta save my dad and everything. I'm glad everybody came through. Appreciate everybody that came through tonight. Hope everybody's doing good wherever you are. Stay safe, stay warm, stay cool. I'll be back tomorrow. God forbid everything goes right. We'll do it again, and appreciate you. And thank you again. And some great questions, interesting stories picking up in the NFL. So we got a lot to talk about, of course, in the next few hours. So the next time I catch you, peace the best. Stay up, stay strong. I will see you. I will check you. And thank you as always. All right, I'm out. Peace.